At an art show in Malibu, Nicandros proudly shows her work to her family and friends, but the joy she feels for her work and her peers is shaded by the realization that children may not have the same opportunities on their table.
I just think it's a tragedy that schools are cutting back on our programs, because I think it's one of the most important things as a human being. You have to be able to express yourself.
California arts organizations say the writing on the wall is clear. The state of the arts in California is in a state of emergency. Since 2006, when the economy was on a high note, the state has added the Arts and Music Block Grant to its budget. From that, the Santa Monica Malibu School District received more than $197,000. But the California prosperity did not stick, and neither did the giving mentality. In February 2008, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger signed California budget reductions, cutting the grant from nearly $110 million to $93 million.
And we also want to accomplish that we predetermine of what programs ought to get cut if we run out of money. And so those are the three challenges: mid-year cuts, next fiscal year's cuts, and then to fix the budget system once and for all.
Though the value of various art programs is visible in students' lives, the money isn't. For some schools, a high school musical is easier to see on the silver screen than it is to see on their own stages. For the 2009-2010 fiscal year, the budget stands at nearly $88 million, but the paint hasn't dried yet. The California Department of Education told Newswaves that more cuts are to follow. The California Art Education Association found that inadequate funding is a block that proves hard to write around, resulting in an unfair dependence on outside and parent groups. Helen is the co-president of the Santa Monica Band Parents Association. Since 1968, the nonprofit supports bands in the Santa Monica area.
For marching band alone, it costs roughly $900 per student for a regular year. We ask the students to pay a portion, we fundraise the rest. This past year, school year, we went to London on a big trip to march in the London New Year's Day Parade. We had to fundraise extensively.
Diane Arnold is a former president of the nonprofit organization and is still involved today.
I'm thankful that my son is now out of high school. I'm glad about that. Because of it, you know, all the cuts and the more cuts that are going to come down, it just tells me that the higher-ups don't care about our kids. I mean, that's literally, they're just, I mean, they cut everywhere. Right. Children cannot get an education without the funding. I mean, the band program can't do it without the funding. It certainly can't do it without the parent volunteer. But the more they cut back, the more they're making our children into adults that are not going to be well-rounded, and you can't function correctly in the world without being well-rounded.
Absolutely. Though the effects will be hard to erase, Alex is using her talents to help.
I want to be a teacher just because I think art is so important, and I was influenced by my middle school art teacher to be a teacher. I don't know where I would be without my art.
Ashlyee Hickman, Newswaves.